We are now going to read the book Math Fables 2 by Greg Tang, illustrated by Taya Morley. Special delivery. Among the blades of ocean grass, one seahorse swims alone. His pouch is full of babies that he's proud to call his own. The pregnant dad's in fact a fish, blessed with a rare physique. He's happy to be different, it makes him more unique. Daydreams. One evening, two koalas were in search of something sweet. They climbed a eucalyptus tree with nimble hands and feet. This tree is very poisonous to all but just a few. Koalas are immune, and so the leaves are safe to chew. One took a little nibble, and the other one a bite. For these very picky eaters, the leaves must be just right. The two marsupials loved the taste and ate the night away. And since they are nocturnal, they planned to sleep all day. Nose job. 3 dolphins started foraging along the ocean floor, but stonefish hiding in the sand soon made their noses sore. These fish have quite a painful sting, and dolphins must beware. The problem is their camouflage and blend in everywhere. Two watched as one smart female placed a sponge upon her snout. Her nose was now protected as she rooted all about. This very clever method was adopted by all 3. They say that imitation's the best form of flattery. Featherweight. One warm and breezy summer day, down by the marshy shore, a group of herons gathered there, a feathered flock of 4. Green herons are a cunning bunch and lure the fish with bait. Instead of chasing after them, they lay a trap and wait. 3 herons used a feather and another one a twig. The fish thought they were insects, a pretty clever gig. A fish swam to the surface, thinking they would find a treat. The birds, in groups of 2 and 2, were waiting there to eat. Alas, the fish were gobbled up, and all 4 had their fill. They know the secret to success is patience, smarts, and skill. Co-pilots. Inside a shallow ocean bay, 5 pilot whales appeared. Away from deeper water, they mistakenly had veered. For whales, it can be dangerous to swim too close to land. A tide that goes out rapidly can beach them on the sand. The youngest one swam to the front and led the other 4. They searched for open water, but were hemmed in by the shore. The oldest whale swam up to help, and 2 now led the 3. They soon reversed direction and swam safely out to sea. Thanks to this very wise old whale, the pod had found its way. All 5 of them safe home that night. New wisdom saved the day. No spitting. Below the water's surface, 6 fish waited patiently. They knew that if their aim was good, they'd soon have company. These fish have such a sneaky way of catching what they eat. They spit a stream of water that knocks insects off their feet. 5 spotted several dragonflies relaxing in the sun. A brightly colored butterfly was targeted by one. The archer fish then suddenly, in groups of 3 and 3, spat water at the startled bugs before they all could flee. The insects lost their balance and they landed with a splash. In groups of 4 and 2, the fish then ate them in a flash. All 6 were feeling quite content with food enough for each. They know that aiming high in life leaves nothing out of reach. The sound and the fury. The sun had set behind the hills, and dusk was on its way. For 7 bats the time was right to go in search of prey. A bat can fly and hunt at night by making little sounds. The echoes locate insects that are flying all around. One bat flew off into the sky to hear what he could find. 6 others followed after him, a flap or 2 behind. 5 heard some plump mosquitoes, and they caught them by surprise. 2 ate a light and tasty snack, a pair of fireflies. A cloud of gnats were next in line, creating such a din. In 2 small groups of 3 and 4, the hungry bats swooped in. The 7 bats all gorged themselves until the morning light. Sometimes a sense of hearing is more valuable than sight. Stone's throw. 8 vultures circled overhead in search of scraps to eat, and suddenly they spied below a most delicious treat. In equal groups of 4 and 4, they swooped down to the ground. A nest of tasty ostrich eggs these scavengers had found. The way they open up the shells has made these birds well known. Instead of using just their beaks, they also use a stone. In groups of 5 and 3, the vultures pushed the eggs apart. They had a plan for eating them that proved to be quite smart. One picked a stone up in its beak and carefully took aim. The other 7 followed suit and quickly did the same. Then one by one they threw the stones, with 6 birds missing wide. The other 2 both cracked the shells and pecked their way inside. All 8 would have a feast that day, including those who missed. Egyptian vultures know success will come if you persist. Go fish. A forest in West Africa, 9 chimpanzees call home. For now it's safe from humans and the apes are free to roam. One day the chimps were playing when one saw a giant mound. The other 8 looked closer and found termites in the ground. Now chimpanzees are much too shrewd to dig into a nest. They know when catching termites a simple tool works best. 2 showed the other 7 how to make a fishing pole. They stripped the leaves from branches and each poked one down a hole. The chimps all waited patiently in groups of 3 and 6, and every now and then they checked for termites on their sticks. 1 termite here, 2 termites there, a few found 3 or more. The chimps enjoyed a healthy snack in groups of 5 and 4. All 9 spent that November day just fishing in the sun. They know that being clever is the key to having fun. Shell game. The sun was shining brightly and the winds were fairly light. For 10 very patient seagulls, at last the time was right. All morning they had waited for the tide to reach its low. In equal groups of 5 and 5, now fishing they would go. 1 seagull caught a weary crab who tried in vain to fight. 9 spied a tasty school of fish who ate them in one bite. The seagulls still were hungry when 2 birds let out a shout. The other 8 rushed over and found oysters all about. While oyster shells are hard to crack, these birds are really smart. They use the force of gravity to break the shells apart. Each seagull grabbed an oyster and flew high into the sky, and then in groups of 6 and 4, they let the mollusks fly. 3 found the broken oyster shells and signaled to the rest. The 7 hurried over and they had an oyster fest. The 10 birds ate all afternoon and left no shell unturned. Smart thinking and persistence are 2 lessons they have learned.